is running home to their TV sets to watch those dramas. And at that time, the cinema culture was missing. And people wanted to be able to either go out in the evening or sit down at home to watch, you know, a full-length drama. So that was why, you know, some of the producers started packaging some of these drama, which we used to show on TV for 30 minutes and so on, into like 1.5 hours, 2 hours, you know, drama for home viewing. And then home video started.
So how would you compare, you know, then and now?
Well, I would say a lot has happened, no doubt. The growth has been phenomenal, and this has been driven basically by the private people. You know, government has not really been doing much, except recently that they are waking up. The movie industry, I must say, is employing a lot of people. It's putting food on the table of so many people. A lot of talents are being discovered by the day, and I think it's giving Nigeria some good image, you know, because when we travel abroad, anywhere, UK, US, Germany, France, and I mean, talk less of all the other African countries, our names are all over, you know, the homes. So it's a great opportunity for those of us who are in the industry, and I think you know, what we just need to do is to consolidate on the gains.
When people talk about the theater arts and the film industry in Nigeria, and they look back, people who have the opportunity of being around in the 80s and 90s and have seen the likes of yourself and RMD and Joke Jacobs and Olu Jacobs and all those people, and they see the quality of drama that they churn out on television and at times in some special films that come out. And they look at what is happening now. One would expect that the growth will be massive in terms of the training and development that should influence the industry. But it seems to be lacking. What has caused the gap?
Well, even though, don't mind the fact that I have talked glowingly about the growth, there are also several problems. The industry, you know, no doubt has been fraught with so many problems. And I think the major one is that the industry is bereft of intellectual content. You know, today in Nigeria, there is no department in any university where they are studying film as film. Many of us studied theater arts, and because it's basically the same thing, it's all about production. So we find relevance, you know, even in that, you know, genre. But because there has not been the training of younger ones, most of the people who are coming into it now, they are just street people.
Why haven't we been training people?
Well, I think it's because there hasn't been the development of any curriculum, as I said, in any university. But, you know, something is happening now in Lagos State University.
Yes, because I was going to say you introduced theater arts there.
Yes, I studied theater arts. As a matter of fact, I joined LASU through English department, and after a few years, I dropped a proposal for the establishment of theater department, and we've been on now for about 10 years. But you know, Governor Fashola, I must say, is very interested in the movie, you know, industry, and so he has asked us in LASU to develop a curriculum for film studies, and we are working on that, you know, right now.
So when should we expect something to come out that will give opportunity to young people?
Latest by next year, we should have a department of film studies in LASU. In fact, it's going to be a school of film, performing arts and cultural studies, and there will be a department of film studies there. Okay,
maybe we should just go back a bit to your acting career. You feature most of the time in soaps. Why the preference?
Most of it, I started, you know, that's the pattern even globally. You know, good actors, seasoned actors, you start from the stage, because that's where you receive your training, basically, especially from theater arts. And then you graduate into television, that's soap operas. Then you become popular, because the television makes you very popular, especially when the programs are being shown on network. you know, it's mass broadcast, you know. And then I moved into film. That's the way I moved. So it's not as if I prefer TV. But of course, I must say that in recent times, I'm one of the greatest critics of what we are doing in Nollywood.
You don't seem to like Nollywood?
I won't say I don't like it, because I'm a product of Nollywood.
Are you really a product of Nollywood?
What really is it that...
the problems, as I said, you know, most of the people who are claiming to be champions of that industry, they are unschooled, and many of them are opportunists, you know. So until we begin to train people who will take over, and then, you know, begin to, you know, discuss the principles, the policies of how to move the industry forward. You know, every industry must have professionals, people who are trained in it, so they'll be interested in the future of it. But when you have people who are just there maybe for commercial gains and all that, then...
There's space for those who are interested in the commercial gain, but where the gap is, it's those who are passionate and who have the experience and the knowledge to drive the industry forward.
Exactly.
How do we begin to create those people that will technically take the industry to a new level?
In my own view, it is when there is training, when the training begins, and we begin to churn out graduates who can now form, you know, very formidable associations that will be discussing the future of the industry. In every profession, you must have professionals, and then you could also have, you know, some support staff. In the banking industry, for instance, you have the professionals who are you know, driving the industry, and then you have a lot of people who are working in the banks who are not you know, professionals, who didn't study banking or finance or whatever. So those support staff are still essential. So I'm not saying that even those who are practicing in the film industry now, that we should drive them away, they are useless and all that. They are also important. But we need those who will be trained so that they can be doing the right things, so that when they, you know, gather to discuss, you know, the industry, they will be passionate about it and want to safeguard its future. Most of the people who are there right now, they are just, you know, they want to talk about investments and what will come in after
the return on their investments.
Exactly.
Now, if you
and that will affect, you know, standards.
Okay. Now, talking about standards, actually, because I have a few friends in the industry. The likes of Tunde Kelani will tell you that the Yoruba film industry is a lot better, more technically sound, and better put together than the so-called Nollywood. What's your own thought? Do you think the Yoruba drama is doing a lot better than the English or Nollywood?
Certainly, and the reason is very clear. In any case, first of all, even the Yoruba movies, you know, as it is now, is also part of Nollywood. Nollywood is about the Nigerian film industry. There was a time that we were trying to, you know, demarcate, but we're all Nollywood. Tunde Kelani is a professional. He actually studied, you know, cinematography abroad, and there are a few like that. And he's been practicing basically in the genre of the Yoruba films. And so when such a person, you know, produces anything, you will know that it's first class. Then most of the actors, directors, producers in the Yoruba, you know, film genre, they also went through some kind of training. It may not be formal training, but maybe through some apprenticeship. They grew under some, you know, master. Some of them trained under Ogunde, some of them under Muzolaiya, some of them, you know, under Adelov, and so on. People like Jide Kosoko and so. And some of the younger ones were also training under Jide Kosoko and Ogabelu and all that. So you see that when people are trained, what they will be doing will be different. That's, you know, what I was just trying to explain. You know, as against the English movies.
Okay, let me just quickly take you back to your acting. There was one movie I watched. I think you starred with Liz Benson. It's a long time, and you were under some kind of spell in the movie. And you know, every time it comes back to me, I feel like is this real? Because it looks so real that I was so afraid for you in the movie. So tell us about, some of the favorite parts you've played.
Well,